Hi everyone, my name is Paris McCollum, and I will be discussing the article of Sarah Carroll. She was a 20-year-old woman from Michigan who was brutally shot by her ex-boyfriend, who then proceeded to die by suicide. Cases like these instill fear into the public, although they are extremely rare. However, it is important for us to discuss headlines like these so we can learn to separate reality from fear. The title, Michigan College Student Stalked by Ex for Months Before Gunned Down in Apparent Murder-Suicide, is an intriguing headline, but it is also sensationalized. While it does clearly point out a specific crime, homicide, it warps our understanding of crime trends and public safety. This article, like others, might distort the public's perception of the crime problem by highlighting an uncommon violent case that may cause readers to believe said crime is more common than it actually is. So, today, we will discuss how stories like these can distort public perception, what the uniform crime rates truly indicate, and why we need to critically evaluate the portrayal of crime in the media. Sarah Carroll, a 20-year-old college student, was murdered by her ex-boyfriend after he stalked her for 2 months following their breakup. The two had been in a relationship for almost a year. Following the breakup, the ex-boyfriend began stalking Carroll, and she was in the process of filing a restraining order when she was killed. The perpetrator then called 911 after he murdered Sarah. He confessed to his crime, and he died by suicide. Although the article said it was not a random event, the article focuses on the extremity. It uses emotional framing by using words like stalked, gunned down, and murder-suicide, which are repeated across various news media, often with the same emotionally framed language that instills fear into the public. The language used in the headline, like stalked, gunned down, and murder-suicide, are designed to evoke strong emotional reactions. Since the article specified that the victim was a college student, the article instills a collective fear among students, prospective students, and parents. This created a personal identification effect that invites readers to see themselves or their loved ones in this story, which amplifies the fear, even if it is a low-risk event. It also implies vulnerability in a setting that is supposed to be safe, aka the school parking lot. Also, by identifying the perpetrator as an ex-boyfriend, it stokes anxiety in anyone navigating romantic relationships, especially those with past partners who have had troubles. This emotional framing can lead to a warped perception of crime, as the public may come to believe this type of situation. They may believe this type of situation is common when it is actually rare. Plus, the repetition of this story across various media platforms creates a loop of fear and misinformation. According to the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Program, murder and non-negligent manslaughter are defined as the willful killing of one human being by another. Suicides are not included in these statistics, so we will analyze this case and focus solely on the murder aspect. In 2024, the FBI reported a 14.9% decrease in murder and non-negligent manslaughter. This was nationwide, which was a significant drop and suggests that violent crime is actually declining in the United States. Yet stories like Sarah Carroll's make it hard to believe this is true and make it feel like the opposite is true. Demographically, about 70.55% of homicide offenders are male. This is typically not surprising to the general public. However, what is interesting is that 78.8% of homicide victims are also male. This may surprise many people, especially women, who often report higher levels of fear regarding violent crime. The reality is that men are statistically more likely to be both the perpetrators and the victims of homicide. When it comes to the relationship between the victim and the offender, the data reveals another important insight. Only 8% of homicide victims are killed by a boyfriend or girlfriend, which is important to know surrounding this case. However, it is also known that 41% of victims are killed by an acquaintance. Often the public believe that strangers are the most likely to murder. But this narrative is challenged, as most victims know their killers. This article also touches on parental awareness. It mentions that Carol's parents were unaware of her relationship problems. This can lead to an increase in anxiety among parents who feel they must monitor every aspect of their child's life to prevent tragedy. It also places an undue pressure on young adults to disclose personal struggles, even when they may not feel ready or safe to do so. For individuals currently dealing with difficult ex-partners, the story may feel like a warning. It suggests that restraining orders may not be enough, that danger can escalate quickly, and that systems meant to protect victims may fail. While these are valid concerns, they must be balanced with data and context to avoid creating a climate of fear and helplessness. Understanding these realities of crime can help reduce fears and promote more effective solutions. The story of Sarah Carroll is truly heartbreaking, and it deserves to be told with dignity and care. But it also serves as a reminder of how the media frames and can shape and sometimes distort our understanding of crime. By looking beyond the headline and examining the data, we can begin to build a more accurate and informed view of public safety. As we continue to learn to separate reality from fear, it is important to analyze headlines, but also analyze the actual crime rates. Thank you.